So hello folks, welcome back to the channel, and a quick video. There was some discussion on the Facebook group about panel line washes and people struggling, damaging their paintwork when they're removing excess sort of enamel washes and that sort of stuff. So I'm working currently on the Airfix Mustang Mark IV. So I thought, well, it's an ideal opportunity to show how I do it on aircraft. There's a million one ways to do it, but we're always looking for sort of an easy solution, really. So the way I do it, and I've done it on this wing here, so hopefully you can see the panel lines are popping but not over the top, and there's some sort of residual staining on this natural metal finish. Now the wings, because on a Mustang the wings were painted, they weren't sort of bare metal. So this shade here is LP11 over Ultimate Modeling Products black primer, and then this panel here and this one here are Super Metallics 208, which is the Mr. Color range, and 208 is Dura Aluminium, or Dura Aluminum, or wherever you are in the world. It's been deckled. There's no clear coat on this at all, because I'm trying to avoid clear coats because I don't want to change the shade and tone of the metals, or the metallics rather. So there's no clear coat on this at all. So the decals are all on. Now Ultimate Modeling Products, the manufacturer of the product I'm going to use, recommend a gloss coat first before you use their wash. I'm not going to do that because I'm confident that the paintwork is smooth enough and has a natural gloss finish that I can use this product without it. But the caveat is that the recommendation from the people that make this stuff is that you use a gloss clear first if you want to remove it. If I was potentially doing this on more of a matte finish, so if I was using this product, for example, on the anti-glare panel on top of the aircraft, etc, then I would gloss it, because it's not this gloss finish, smooth finish paint. So if you're doing a camouflage scheme or whatever, then I would recommend you use a gloss clear coat. But for the purposes of this, we're not going to. So the idea is that I'm going to show you on this wing and try and achieve something similar to the wing that's already done. So this isn't what I'm using because the bottle's open, but this is how they come. So it's an Ultimate Modeling Products wash, obviously in this sort of plastic bottle, and they come in 8 different colors. They all work exactly the same. You can airbrush them or you can use a brush to apply them, and they come in 50ml bottles, but they all work exactly the same. They're a clay-based wash, so you don't need any harsh solvents to remove them. They will remove just with water. So what we're going to do is you have to give the bottle a good shake, make sure it doesn't separate too much, make sure it's well mixed, and then just around all the panel lines, all the rivets, we're going to apply this dark dirt wash. Now what you will get is you will get some sort of surface tension because I'm applying this liquid onto what is essentially a very shiny gloss surface. So you will get that. Don't worry about that at all. Apply it over the decal as well. So as long as you've done your preparation, and as I say, the recommendation is that you use a good quality gloss. My gloss of choice is VMS, but you could use something like, to me, LP11, Aqua Gloss, that sort of thing. So your gloss of choice, but there's no clear coat on this. As I explained, I don't want to change the tone of the metallics if I can help it. So around the wing root there, and just make sure you're covering every area that you want this to be in. You don't need to be particularly precise because, as I said, it will remove with water. Takes it depends on your weather, temperature, all that stuff, but take anywhere between 30 and 60 minutes really to dry to the point where you can start removing it. Today's a very hot day, so I don't propose it will take long. You can use sort of your airbrush or a hairdryer to speed up that drying process. When I'm doing panel lines, I don't, and the reason is that if you're introducing airflow across the surface of your model, then all you're going to do really is blow this wash out of the panel lines that you want it to dry in, if that makes sense. So I would just let it air dry, be patient, and you will reap the rewards like so. So that's all you need to do. Now you can apply this with an airbrush as well. I generally don't for panel lines for exactly the same reason I don't dry it with a hairdryer or an airbrush, because when you're spraying it on, although it will dry a lot quicker, I find you're potentially going to blow it out of the areas that you want it to be in. So I would avoid that. It cleans with water. You don't need to thin it. Just make sure you shake the bottle well, and you'll be absolutely fine. So I'm going to let that dry. As I say, it's a hot day here in the UK, so I'm going to let that dry probably about 30-40 minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to remove it. So yeah, I'll see you in about 45 minutes or so. Be about 5 seconds for you guys. Okay, so it's been drying now. As I said, it's an extremely hot day here in the UK. I think we're about 30 degrees. So it's only been drying for about half an hour, but it's dry enough now for us to remove it. And we're being very conscious because there's no clear coat on this. We don't want to leave it for hours and hours and hours, because it will stain the paintwork beyond what we're after. So removal, all you're going to use is normal water, straight out the tap, no issues at all. Now what I use is just an old cut up t-shirt initially. Very, very simple. So I just wrap it around my finger, or fold it into a square. A little bit moist, doesn't need to be soaking wet, because you want obviously it to remain in the panel, and almost with no pressure at all. Let's take it off there, it's easier. So almost with no pressure at all, you can already see how easy this stuff comes away. But what it will do, particularly when we haven't used a clear coat, is it will stain slightly on the paintwork, and that's the effect we're after, because we want some sort of residual dirt without it being absolutely filthy. And that I'm putting almost no pressure at all on that, and you can see how easy that is coming off and leaving the wash in the panel lines. Now for example, on this panel here, if we don't want particularly stained panel work or stained paint or whatever, we just apply slightly more pressure in various directions all over the model, and that's how easy it is. It makes panel lining so simple. If you've got a paint mule, which we should all have really, get some of this stuff, UMPretail.com. It comes, there's 9 colours in the range. They sell it either as individual sort of bottles, or you can go and get the mega set, it's called, which will be all the colours, pretty much every colour you could ever need really. And also you can get a sort of 3D printed holder, so it looks nice and tidy on your bench. It'll hold all your bottles of this stuff, and away you go. And there you go. Hopefully you can see without any real effort at all, and in essentially a few seconds, you know, it's probably about a minute, if that, straight away we start to get this panel lining in there, and removing it from the actual panels themselves. So I'll carry on removing all this. One thing is to note on aircraft, where you've got sort of these curves and it's kind of staining in the wing roots and that sort of stuff, what you can also use is just your run-of-the-mill cotton bud. Again, moist under touch, and that just allows you to get into those more awkward places and remove this. So I'll go around the whole wing. I'll get this all removed and to the level that I want it, and then we'll come back. What I will do right at the end is we want to make sure once we've removed the majority that we want is that we then go in sort of the direction of airflow over the wing surface, because then if you're leaving a bit of residual dirt on there, it's in a natural sort of pattern as the air would go over the wing. We're going in the right direction for that staining. Obviously on the yellow there, which isn't as shiny, it is staining it more, as you can see. That's an easy fix. We're going with a Q-tip or cotton bud with a little bit more moisture than we've used on the rest, a little bit more pressure. And as it's only water, we don't have to worry about it damaging the paint. It's not solvent based anything. It is just bog standard water. And as we press a little bit harder, we start to get that yellow back. And I'll remove all this as well to the sort of level that I want it. And it's as simple as that. So I'll be back once I've removed all this, but that's how you do it. Very, very simple. Okay, folks, so as you can see, that's all removed now, or removed as far as I want to go. We've left some sort of residual dirt on it. And that's the first stage, really. We're obviously going to go in with some oils and all that sort of stuff that won't be in this video, but that's just showing you how I use the dark dirt wash from UMP to kind of make these panel lines pop a bit more. There'll be some chipping and oil work and all that sort of stuff, but that's the initial thing. So that's it. That's how I've done it. So hopefully that will give you some food for thought, and you'll have a go at it. Get some UMP wash, have a go at it. As I say, manufacturer's guidelines are that you apply this over a gloss coat, and I explained earlier on in the video why that is. But this hasn't got a clear coat on it at all, because I'm trying to preserve the metallics, if you like, without burying them underneath a gloss coat or whatever. But yeah, that's it. So go and see get my words out, umpretail.com. Order yourself some wash, and until next time, stay safe, happy hobbying. Bye bye.